Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 109 of Psycho's Platters. Last episode that I just did mere minutes ago, we concentrated on 45s. This particular one is going to be an LP episode, that's right, and some other odd things I want to show you as well. We're continually powered by coffee. I wish Waffle House would sponsor me, but maybe someday, right? All right. I have three different album sources to tell you about. All of these were found within the last 7 to 10 days. Um, let's start out here with. Um, I found actually a bunch over the Goodwill in the next town over. Oh, man, there was half a crate of hair metal, and I'm not talking about just any hair metal and pop and stuff like that. I'm talking about unknown, small label West Coast, West Coast and East Coast hair metal. Scratched to holy hell. I couldn't have saved any of it. I was so ticked. I'm like, who did this? I can't even believe Goodwill even put them out. The weirder part about it, I would say within 48 hours they were gone. So I snagged what little I could find that was salvageable. This is mostly, like I said, hair pop and things like that. First one I'm going to start off with from Champaign, Illinois, if I remember correctly, the Elvis Brothers. This is from 1985, Adventure Time, produced by Adrian Belew, who would be ending up, of course, in his musical lifetime, Frank Zappa, King Crimson, and of course, and David Bowie, and even a solo career of his own. I like Adrian Belew. I thought he was pretty good. Brad Elvis, who is a member of this band. Here's the front. There's the back. This was on Portrait Records. Brad Elvis is a Facebook friend of mine. I'm going to probably forward this video to him because I'm curious if he could tell me an amusing story or two about the recording of this album. I've never saw this album before. I remember the first Elvis Brothers album, which I think was just basically a portrait cover. I didn't even know this existed, so I thought that's kind of neat to come across that. So maybe he'd be able to enlighten me. Brad Elvis, by the way, is the drummer and has been the drummer for many years. I know he's not going to remember me, but I met him about 10 years ago, roughly. He's the drummer of the Romantics. He has been for at least that long, maybe a little longer than that. But I met him in Rockford, Illinois, at Oscar Fest, which was what it was called. It was in late September, and it was raining, and he was the nicest one of the band. Truthfully, I mean, there was some other members that were nice. Even though I didn't at that time have any Elvis Brothers stuff for him to sign, we shot the shit. We had a couple beers. He was very cordial, honestly, Brad. So I mean, I thank you for that. But I got my Romantics album signed by the other three members, and like I said, Brad, I got this, so I can't wait to listen to this, and maybe you can share one or two things on it. This one here was one of the few hair metal type things that I did find on the Seppico label teaser. This thing here, if I remember correctly, roughly is 1979, 1980. This is the front. This is the back. It says collector's issue number 1, limited 10,000. It says. In here, it says fans autograph album. Thousands inside. There is a huge poster, and I'm sorry, it's so big I can't even pull this out. Um, Everybody pretty much signed it. What I mean by that is I'm assuming all these fans and such. Um, I cannot wait to hear this. It says here Universal First Prince Lucifer rock opera. I'm not entirely sure what to think about any of this. But like I said, it's from 79, 80, and I never heard of I never heard of these guys, although it does say the home base is Canton, Michigan. So maybe some of the Michigan vinyl people can tell me a little bit more about this. This one here, gold stamp promo from a band called Saint on Sound Image Records from 1984. I never heard of these guys either. Here's the front, here's the back. There's what the label looks like. The thing that struck me really odd, it says fan club and merchandising from Rockford, Illinois. So I'm guessing that that's exactly where these guys came from. Why I never heard of them is beyond me. Happy to have it though. Like I said, from 84, Saint. This one cracked me up to no end. I'm not really a big fan of the band, but I'm going to probably end up listening to this anyway. From 1984 on MCA, Men Without Hats, Folk of the 80s, Part 3. There's the front. There's the back. Let's see here. That's what, of course, the label looks like. I don't know. It's just really weird. I've never come across a Men Without Hats album after Safety Dance. So I don't know. We'll see about this. All right. Second little bit I came up with. I went to Block Street Records in Fayetteville and came up with these. Pretty much 99 cents to $1.99. I got a really decent copy of Raiders Indian Reservation. Thank God. I love this album. There's the front. There's the back on Columbia from 1971. Let's see here. Original press of Climax. Good old Precious and Few with Sonny Gerasi, who of course was in The Outsiders. That 60s Capitol band. You remember them. And this is on Rocky Road Records, which was a subsidy of Bell from 72. You basically have a lot of the members of the Wrecking Crew on here. I'm trying to think if there's anybody out of the ordinary. No, I don't really see anything of it, but I think it's kind of cool. It really clean too. Couldn't believe how easy that was to pick that up. Let's see. The Don Harrison Band. Now on Atlantic, 1976. Here's the front. Here's the back. Why did I get this? I don't know if you know who Don Harrison Band was in the mid 70s. It basically was half of Creedence Clearwater. You had Doug Clifford and Stu Cook that played on this album. They played on I think a handful of the albums. Like I said, this is on Atlantic. Very cool to have that. These two are kind of odd. I actually have a 45 from the band Night on Planet Records from 1979, produced by Richard Perry, who I know he would go and do for Ringo and a few other people. Let me tell you who basically is on here. Nicky Hopkins, keyboard piano session extraordinaire. Robbie McIntosh from Average White Band. But you also have on this particular album, you have members of Toto, you have members of the Doobie Brothers, you have members of Little Feat, you have all of these people. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else that stands out. No. Although it does also say special thanks to Manfred Mann, and it makes me wonder if maybe he had involvement. Here's the inner sleeve of this. I think it's kind of cool, to tell you the truth. I don't know what to think, but I can't wait to listen to it. But like I said, from 1979 on Planet Records. And then lastly, I ended up grabbing something that says from Spanos. That's the name of the band. Looks Like Trouble from 1984. There's the front. There's the back. Gold stamp promo. The reason why I grabbed this is who was in the band, Dana Strum, who would end up very shortly after this in the Vinnie Vincent Invasion. And of course, Slaughter was bass player on here. And then also for guest artists, yep, you had Frankie Bonelli again. He shows up and plays drums on a track called Excuse Me, along with Rick Derringer is on the same tune. Dwayne Hitchings, he sounds familiar too. I think he was involved briefly also in Alice Cooper, like in the early 80s at one point or another. So you have all these people, and like I said, it's on CBS Records. Um, and then lastly, I picked these up yesterday for a quarter a piece. I couldn't pass them up. I'm not sure how old this stuff is, but these are promo air shows, for radio shows. It says from the Veterans Administration, here's to veterans, and I happen to have. It says there's 75 and 76. Maybe that's the years on these things. I'm not sure, but you've got Burl Ives is on one side, Ernie Ford is another one, Kingston Trio, Mickey Finn, music from Hawaii with Webley Edwards, and lastly, Big Tiny's Little Hootenanny. I know it's mostly stuff that I maybe wouldn't listen to, but like I said, I think these are pure radio shows, so that'd be really cool indeed, right? All right, so I'm going to go off and give you some shout outs. Oh, wait a minute. Ooh, sorry, hang on a minute. I got a little bit more stuff. I also picked these up within the last week, too. Reminiscence Magazine. If you can find this, this is pretty cool. This is actually from a couple years back, but it's the British invasion when the Beatles came to America in 1964. For a quarter, couldn't pass it up. It had some decent photos. There's the front, there's the back. Yeah, she's crying because the Beatles are there. This one here, 12 Days on the Road, The Sex Pistols and America. Just got done reading this. Really good read. I only paid 50 cents for this sucker, and it was about it was a reporter that was along with them in 1978, in January of 78, in the whole South U.S. tour. The most closest locality, they did play Kane's Ballroom in Tulsa. I think that's kind of damn cool. There's even a handful of pictures of that, along with the San Antonio, the Dallas, and the LA gigs. I know I'm missing a few. I think Memphis and Louisiana are in here too. I'm not sure. Really good read. I enjoyed it very well. And then lastly, I can't wait to read this in softcover. I didn't even know they put Graham Nash's Wild Tales from the Hollies and Crosby, Stills and Nash. He has been a photographer for many, many years. There was the front. There's the back. This one here, of course, is from 2013. So I can't wait to read that either. All right, guys. Shoutouts: Wax Museum with Ronnie Dark and Night Owl Lounge with Mike Adams, 6 to 9 p.m. Central Standard and 9 to 10 Central Standard on Sunday nights. Go like them on Facebook. The best damn radio shows you are ever going to hear. But there are some other ones coming to WVOA Love Radio out of Syracuse. Roscoe's Attic, which is a classic country station from Commander John Walsh, or should I say, excuse me, Johnny Bob. Whatever, John. I like it anyway. It doesn't matter. And then let's see, Melissa and her Billy Joel show that she does as well. And if I remember correctly, I think Mike talked about the Record Farm evens, or the Record Barn, excuse me. I'm out of it. So maybe I need more coffee. So go listen to all of those things and the upcoming shows too. You are not going to be disappointed on this. This is ear candy for your soul. Also, Thrifty Music Collectors Group, Tim Smith and Company, always expanding. I saw a couple new members joining that group too. Good for you. You guys are great. You always are. Shindig, the best English rock magazine, period. Seriously, period. Yes, I like Record Collector and Vintage Rock and a few other ones, but Shindig is the one that blows my mind the most. And then lastly, the YouTube vinyl community. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do any of these videos, and I wouldn't be here, so you guys could put up with me. So until next episode, take care, God bless, rock on, and have a great